Alex, what are you doing? Oh. Sleep tight, sweet prince.
We can turn it back on when we time lapse.
Just make the context for yourself. You are Joe Rogan.
Okay, we're doing some more wiring.
We're wiring in the engine bay.
Yeah, over here.
Joe Rogan!
Mountain lions.
We're getting wired in here. So we used some DMT, and then we decided we just need all the wires.
Yeah. So we're just going to continue where we left off.
The other day.
The other day.
The other week.
The day.
Last Vista Tuesday.
Last Vista Tuesday.
Ago,
Yeah, Casey's here.
Again.
Again.
Well, no, he never left. It was a few hours ago.
It was. It just happened for you. But not you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just gonna continue. We're gonna start figuring out the ignition wiring because we've got some stuff that goes into the ECU and some stuff that goes to other parts in the engine bay. So that's where we're gonna pick up. It's gonna be a white with a black on the airflow sensor connector.
A white with a black. We don't.
Oh no, you're right. It is over there. So we can't use that.
That's a four.
It's in that one that's all apart. Make connectors. Wiring. Yeah. Alex.
That's a mess.
Alex is in there.
I'm drunk.
There's just so much blood. And it was only one body. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna move on to
Like 3 foot alligator.
the ECU harness side.
Ouch!
So what we're gonna do is Cooper's going to pick a wire that's got a label, put the meter on it, and then I'm gonna find it on this side till it beeps, cut it, and make the label the same. That way we've got our wires all the way through. Let's get to work. Okay, yeah. It's way quicker than using the book because we can just beep it and be done. Because it doesn't really matter as long as it goes through. So we're gonna do that. All right, so we got the wiring for the ECU side done. Yeah, basically everything with a label has the same label on this side. So all that's left to do is the rest of these ECU wires, make sure they don't go to something not in the engine bay. And if they do, label those to what they go to so that we can put them on the right 2G ECU pins. So there's where we're at, and more wiring to come. More wiring, Alex.
Yeah.
As we continue with the wiring saga, we have here ourselves our 2G wire harness that goes to the ECU. These are the ECU connectors for a 2G, and here's the end that's cut. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at my paper here that I made. Everyone's familiar with this at this point. All of the red is stuff we've deleted. So I'm gonna go through our 2G harness, get rid of everything that we're deleting. Then what's left should all have a home on the Vista harness that we just prepared. So we're gonna get to snipping this.
Get to work.
Side's ready. I've got the unused ones short and twisted up out of the way. Once we know everything's good and everything works and the car runs and we have all the sensors and everything, then we'll cut these back and terminate them properly. But just in case, I want some extra for oopsies.
Engine ignition signal.
That one, yeah. So what we're doing now is we're gonna solder the ECU ends onto the harness. So he's gonna verify
Got it.
everything's right like that, and then I can solder it. This is the way. Look at this solder. What a solder job.
Worthy of appreciation.
Solder.
It's pretty good. We're getting there. We're getting there. That's it. We got them. We got them all wired in, all 4 connectors. Everything was accounted for and double checked. Yeah, so the next step is going to be doing the connectors on the engine bay side. And then maybe I'll shrink these up, because I didn't put any of the shrink. I put the shrink tube on, I just didn't shrink it. Just because I wanted to be able to test stuff, because I can just grab these solder joints with the alligator lead for us to ohm stuff out. So, but yeah, there's that. ECU side, good to go. Okay, so now to finish up the engine bay wiring, we need to have all of our engine bay electrical things in their places. So we've got the injector resistor pack, the PTU, map sensor, and this doesn't go in the engine bay, but it's our OBD connector, because we're adding OBD2.
To what?
To the Vista.
Alex, did you spill something on your concrete?
Everywhere.
I think you got a pack of snails go through
It's
here.
just me sweating all over it.
Well, then let's put it under the manifold.
See, we have like 7 other things to put under the manifold.
With 3. 1, 2, 3.
In the
4.
harness.
5.
I don't want the harness to be accessible.
Can we put that on the firewall in the back? Or maybe one of those bolts that the coil goes to? The one we
Maybe
didn't use?
that.
The bottom
that
one?
lower one.
Yeah.
Maybe that. Maybe that. Maybe.
So what are you doing, Alex?
Making a borket.
Okay. We're turning those into studs.
That's the wrong hole.
Wrong holio.
That's good enough for the Studley Cup. Smoky stuff.
Alright, here we got the map sensor. It's a Supra Omni 4-bar. Pretty tight, pretty contained. I made this little bracket for it. We went ahead and whipped it up, got it mounted on the firewall, nice and out of the way. Powder coated that bracket, and it goes right there. Wow!
Okay, so we're underneath the car here, and we're gonna take off these fuel lines and the evap line, because we're gonna relocate the fuel and we're not gonna use the evap, but we want to use this bolt hole. Bless you, Casey.
Thank you.
To mount the injector resistor pack. So this is a spot we want to do. So we're gonna unhook it there and take all this stuff out of here.
Look, man, when you got...
Oh no, I needed that.
Okay, so now we've got an open hole that we can use. Do we want to try and find 2?
Well, let me pull the feed. I'm gonna cut the feed.
Oh, because we're gonna
that's keep the return.
Yeah, that's
but the feed's
perfect.
we're gonna get the feed out of the way because even then it'll be an AN line. But like, we'll just have to probably cushion clamp it.
Okay. So we cut the fuel feed and there's still gas in it because it's the lowest point. And now we have that awful awesome smell. We are going to run a new fuel feed line with a 6AN hose. Wow. This thing was full of gas. Don't pay attention to the drive shaft. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, all I had to do was loosen it there.
Okay, now there's some more wiggle room, huh?
Orgling. Have you told the viewers about how damp my floor is?
Well, sometimes when it gets real humid outside, the floor sweats like an old man.
It's only when it's been cold.
Yeah.
And then it gets humid.
And then everything's just wet.
It's gotta acclimate.
So we're trying to, we've got this unused part of the cyclone manifold. This is where the coils used to bolt to for putting that actuator, or the solenoid. That's what we're thinking. We've got these two bolts here and here, but we're gonna make a bracket bar to hold our harness because we're gonna run the main engine harness under here. At least that's what we're gonna try and do. So we wanna keep those clear. Whoa! So this is the bar that we're gonna put on the bottom of the intake manifold to kind of mount the rest of our sensors to. It's steel.
And the harness.
And the harness, yes. Harness and sensors. So
everything is steel.
He's got it measured and cut, and he's gonna put some holes. These are the holes that mount it to the manifold, right? Yeah. And then once that's in, we'll figure out
where everything else is gonna go in the harness.
Yep, exactly. So this was the bracket that held the 2G injector resistor pack to the firewall. It's got the studs on it already, which will hold it nicely. So we're gonna reuse this. We're just gonna cut it to make it fit. But
make it fit. Let's get to work.
No. So we've got the bar in, and we're going to mount the resistor pack here. That keeps that big hunkiness out of the way. Big hunky. That'll keep it out of the way. And we can have the smaller stuff up here because we're gonna have wire harness going up and all up in here to the injectors and stuff. We're gonna feed all that from underneath. So it just makes sense to keep it against the firewall. That's where it was on a 2G and a 1G. So yeah, just modify the bracket a little bit. This came off a Raven, so yeah, it did. Okay, so we've got the resistor pack in place, and it looks really nice. So now we're working on the knock sensor. So here's where the knock sensor goes, and we've got
working on it. Done.
It's done.
Zip tying the knock sensor up.
Yeah. So we've got the connector right here. This is a modified bracket from a 2G. Just modified it, bolted it to the block right there. Knock sensor goes in right there. So this is a 2G knock sensor because we're using a 2G ECU. So we gotta make that match. Now we're working on the bracket for the solenoid. The solenoid that'll actuate the cyclone manifold. So we'll talk about the routing and how we're gonna run this more once it's all hooked up and I can point at everything and explain it. So this is gonna go up in there. We'll show you. Sit tight. Okay, so what Alex did is he used the factory bracket, modified it, and we just bunk bedded on the resistor pack. So this is a 2G fuel pressure solenoid. Sweet. That looks great. Now we're modifying the PTU bracket. I don't know what this is from. It probably a 2G, could be a 1G.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who cares?
Yep. So we're modifying this.
Need nub glove.
of glove. You know what they say, if the glove fits, drive a Bronco. Okay, so Alex has got this all bent out of shape, but into the shape we want. And he's got this bar that was on the manifold off, and we're gonna weld this bracket to that.
Wow.
Wow. Watch your bung holes. All right, so this is what it looks like on the car. So that's not going anywhere. So we've got the resistor pack, the solenoid, and the PTU. So this is responsible for, it's the igniter for the coils. We're gonna put the canister here in a cushion clamp. It'll be sitting right here. We still gotta get to that, and we'll get to the OBD port sometime, but this stuff's all figured out, and we're really happy with the spot, the locations of everything. Yeah. Mountain lions.
Mountain lions. Joe Rogan.
DMT. They just do it to practice. They surplus kill. Yeah.
All right, Nate, what are we doing?
We're doing electrical.
Look at my ass!